What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your boy DJ Spin. I am with We Time Podcast. As you know, we are here every Tuesday at 7 p.m. most of the time, but sometimes we're on Black People time. So it happens like that. Today, we are blessed to have one of the youth coming online to talk about Black history and what it means for them. I would love for you guys to chime in on this because it'd be great to hear what you guys have to be or have to say about what the conversation is going on. I'm stumbling. Let's go. What's up?
What's up?
How you
What's up?
doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
That's what's up. So, hey, you're not on here most of the time. So, AJ, you want to go ahead and tell the people out there a little bit about yourself?
I'm AJ. I'm from Kansas City originally, but now I live in Washington, and I'm just an artist, musician, college student, doing what doing what I can. So,
Okay, okay. That works. That works. So, as a artist, what do you mainly work on?
I'm a multi-medium artist, so I work on poetry, drawing, painting, music, a lot of those things. It kind of just it depends on how I feel, but most of the time I try to translate a piece of art across those platforms. So if I write something, I'll try to make music out of it. If I paint something, I'll try to write a poem about it, those things.
Got you. So, all the things you do, you have it. Okay, Tish says she's gonna be on here soon.
Yeah.
Thank goodness, because she's been hiding since she lost that bet about the Chiefs and the 49ers. But on to bigger and better things. Um, you want to tell the people about your socials if they want to kind of check out some of your projects?
Yeah. So my main platform is just Instagram, and that's Night of Ambrose, and that's my artist name also. So I haven't been posting anything because I haven't been performing much or making much art. But yeah, that's if you want some updates on that. I'm trying to come out with a poem, a poetry book. So that'll come out soon.
Nice, 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 nice. So, we are talking about Black history. We waited until the almost the last day of the month to talk about Black
Yeah.
history, which is just crazy. I always thought that was the craziest thing too. That Black History Month is in the month of February.
Mhm.
And it's the shortest month of the year. It's like, dog, we really don't get much time to talk about Black history or represent Black history like we
Yeah.
should. But and just like they say about Valentine's Day, every day is Valentine's Day, every day is Black history.
Mhm.
Especially when you're black.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep, yep,
Can't get
yep.
away
So,
from it.
can't get away from it. It happens all the time. So as a person in this day and age, youth wise, I mean, what are some of the big things you feel as Black history? What comes to mind?
I think definitely the current movements around like the Black Lives movement and everything happening in our community and trying to rebuild and reestablish community in that sense and come back to like these collective values that we used to hold in but way before colonization and the individualist centered movements. That's like the ever growing Black history to me, and that's what I've seen a lot so far, especially with social media and the internet connecting more people and Black communities across you know all cities.
Right. That's you actually said a lot right there. I didn't expect you to say that much.
I'm
I'm sorry.
sorry.
I'm
My
sorry. I'm
bad. My
like I'm
bad.
like hold on. I need to jot down some notes real quick. Let me make sure I stay on point. Uh, so you said the Black Lives Matters movement, and this is one thing that's ever present in what's going on today that you notice in your life. What would you say Black Lives Matter mean to you? Because it seemed like it was so many different people that had so many different views on what it was supposed to mean and what the movement was about.
Mhm.
As a young person, what does it mean to you?
Yeah, so I know there was a lot of issues surrounding like people saying that that means black lives are over other people's lives or that other people's lives don't matter, but that's not the case. I remember someone comparing it to like a burning house. You won't say like all burning houses are important when there's only one burning house in right there, like you won't, if one house is burning down and they're getting like everything destroyed from multiple places, like you won't think about the other houses. You won't say like, "Oh, they're all equal, so all houses should get water and attention from the fire department." But in this case, it's like black lives, like all of the things that are coming with systemic oppression, and like the health disparities, the redlining of our communities, and how gentrification is replacing that. And on top of that, like how communities are destroyed and separated. It's acknowledging the history of what's happening and say like these lives, our black lives, they matter and they deserve to be seen, um, in an equitable fashion, you know?
See, you are touching on so many different points, ma'am. I had to applaud you on that. Um, from my standpoint, I felt like it was bringing light to something that we've always known, but as a nation, it was never really taken serious until it was
Mm,
brought to the main stage. And a lot of people felt like it was being misrepresented represented because of so many people wanted to say, well, this is what it means to me.
yeah.
Or even people of different nationalities were trying to say, well, like you said, if one house is on fire, do all the houses get water?
Mhm,
And it's like, oh, we want to make sure that all the houses are equally treated with respect. But if one house is on fire, it deserves to have the water at that moment in time. It's
mhm,
almost like that whole saying, and I'm gonna bring that back as the squeaky wheel gets the oil. You don't oil all the wheels because you don't address the wheels unless you hear them, right?
mm,
And black people have always had a hard go about it just because the simple fact is, for one, they were never really acknowledged as a people. And then
mm,
as we started to gain our acceptance in this nation, it seemed like we were always behind the ball because we were never really getting a fair shake.
yeah,
And for people to actually have to acknowledge the fact that, hey, there is a divide financially, there's a divide educationally, there's a divide with healthcare, there's a divide with everything across the board. Yeah,
mm,
I understand that, we as a people, we can get up and make something of ourselves, but if we are always dealt a bum hand, it's hard to even get to the starting line to actually get in the race. You know what I'm saying?
mm, yeah.
So um wow, you also said uh, along the lines of the redlining, and I didn't
Yeah,
expect you to say anything about the redlining because not too many people, or even I mean, people my age don't talk about gerrymandering. And for you to even bring that up, that says that you are in tune with what's really going on out here.
mm,
And it's hard for our vote to even be represented correctly if the districts are not lined right.
mhm.
So how are we supposed to go ahead and vote for change when, they make it where the districts are all black communities, and then they want to make it where there's no fair voting rights?
Yeah, I think, that is really hard to say, like, there's not one answer to that issue, especially when it's like a multifaceted, issue that must be addressed,
Hmm.
in my opinion, I think we should build strong communities in the most part, like, Like if we think about the Black Panthers movement, they were the first ones who established like the free breakfast and for schools and everything like that. They were the first ones to build communities that can help uplift communities and support them at the same time when there's systemic oppression against them. And that's the main thing I feel like would be better, like move away from the reliance of these of a system that's not built to help us.
I got you. So, for you to even speak about the Black Panther movement and know about what they did and how they affected the community, do you feel like something like that will be able to happen with the people at this state?
Mm. I feel like now more people are definitely moving towards it because of everything that's going on in the world right now. There's definitely more movement towards like, okay, I can't rely on these people to reflect my views, especially if the majority's views aren't being respected. Um, and there there's more turning towards like community. But the only issue to that is that everyone's like, oh, this needs to change, but no one's putting in the action to
Mm,
do that. There's this huge fear and reliance on the system that we're currently under. And I think that's the main thing is like people it starts with educating ourselves of the possibilities of like what we could do, like
right, right.
growing our own food or building our own communities and own own areas where we can just support each other, have those communal values.
I mean, I do agree that there's a lot of people that are moving towards trying to get away from relying on the government because it seems
Yeah.
like the system is broken when it comes to that. But it's hard to see it with the the perpetual um the how can I say this? It seems like more and more people are saying that we can't have anything versus we can come together and create something.
Mhm.
You know, even when we had the tragedy down at the parade, that was one of the
Mhm.
the biggest things I seen on my timeline on Facebook was we can't never have anything good.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like in my mind, I'm like, we all know of that one friend that will go out and do something stupid. And, some of us, we say, well, it ain't my business that they're going to go out there and act a nut or if I'm with somebody that I know that's going to do something dumb, it's like, why can't I be the game changer and say, hey, this ain't the time, this ain't the place. And it seems
Mhm.
like it's more or less a lot of people that are saying if it doesn't affect me, I'm not going to put myself in that, you know,
Yeah.
and I think that's the biggest thing with us as a people is we don't make it our business when we know it's something that is positive and it could be a benefit for everybody. But since it's not touching on me, that what has it done for or what have you done for me lately type mentality,
Mhm.
I'm not gonna address it or even acknowledge it.
Yeah. And that's like the whole individualistic culture that was built under like this system is like we were so instilled with these individualist values that we haven't built the skills or the knowledge on how to be a part of a community and what
Right,
it takes to build a community and what roles we all play in it.
right. So, what do you think fundamentally we can do to build a better community, to have a better foundation for us to grow together with? Because there's something that we're
Mm.
missing.
Yeah. I think more like accessibly we can try to connect with any local movements or local communities, like no local nonprofits or just any events that happen and try to connect with our communities on that way, in that sense. Like here where I live, they have this area that teaches people in the Black community how to grow culturally specific foods and
Mhm.
how to farm, and then each month they come together and have a meal. So it's in that sense like finding ways to connect with the community, and if it doesn't exist, find a way to create it, or maybe bring it up to someone who will. Like that's one way. And then another way is education,
Mhm.
learning about the things that have been going on and being aware of what is going on and how it affects you and your community.
Man, I mean, I like that the whole idea of teaching people how to produce their own food, and then not stopping there at just like, hey, we're going to teach you this, but we're also going to try to come together, and make time. And that whole inclusion and, that village mentality, I think that's what's really been missing from a lot of Black people. I mean, shoot, Tishna, we talked about how we missed out on a lot of our grandparents being around because they were the staples of Black families. They for one held the history, and then they also gathered everybody together, and they ushered in, that community with the Black family. But also they also were staples in the community that kept a lot of neighborhoods, violence out of there, drugs, a lot of things, because a lot of the drug dealers and the gangbangers, they respected them. They grew up with them.
Mm.
So when that died out, it seems like we're missing those staples, those things that we had as guardrails that kept a lot of us from going off the deep end from the drug dealing and drug gang banging and stuff like that. Hey,
Hi,
Tish.
friends.
Hi.
Hi, lovely. Sorry I'm
Yeah,
late.
it's okay. I know you had stuff going on. Hey, did you get a chance to tune in at all to hear some of the stuff we were talking about?
Mm-mm. Right when you guys went live, I got on just to make sure that my broadcast was live,
Okay,
and then, but I was getting my teeth cleaned.
not a problem. You gonna smile for the camera? So
Thugs don't smile. No, I'm just
s-
kidding.
so you popped in, AJ and I. We've been having a very in depth conversation about Black communities and just what Black history means to her. Uh, it's
And
been a. I'm sorry.
what was did she start? Did you start responding yet?
Yeah, I mean, we've been having a back and forth about a lot of different things, but the really cool thing she just brought up was this where she's at right now. The coming together, teaching people how to farm and produce their
Mm,
own food, and then they come in like once a month and have a meal all together. So they gather together after the fact and have a meal, which I think that is great because we have a few local farms around the city,
yeah,
but I never heard of anybody coming together and just having that community like that, you know,
yeah,
having
keeping
that
it together and
togetherness.
continue.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing fellowship along with farming and learning other things. I know when I was in college, I had a course that we had to do that, and they took one of the old projects down on Third in
Hmm.
KCK. They took some of those apartment complex down,
Hmm.
and so what they did was some of the immigrants that are here from different parts of, I think it was, I want to say Nigeria and places like that. Excuse me, but some of the immigrants, they took those apartments down, and if you go down there, it's now a community garden. So they created this space for a community garden for them, and then they go to like the farmers markets and sell their goods. So
Hmm.
when I was in college, I had a course and we took a field trip down there, and they kind of talked about how they were doing different things for sustainability and things like that. But I thought that that was really interesting because that's when I've started seeing like community farming. But a lot
Mhm.
of times they don't go any further than saying, hey, here's a small plot of land, grow something on it, you know?
Right.
So I think that the fact that you're continuing it into a fellowship thing where you guys are not only learning the farming trade together, but then later on you're building lifelong friendships and camaraderie and breaking bread together after you've farmed together, basically created what you can do to make the bread. I
Right.
think that's really
Right.
nice.
It really is nice. I've never heard of the community coming together for that, and I think
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest things that we've been missing. Because I was asking, like, what are some of the things that we are missing now? Because she brought up that the Black Panther movement, they were deep in the community, making things happen, creating free lunches for the kids for school and stuff. And I was
Yeah.
wondering what could we do now, to bring that back, that community. What are the staples and stuff? And as we talked about it before, as big mamas and grandfathers and stuff like that, actually being the staples in families and communities. And when we unfortunately we don't like to acknowledge it, because we have actually grown into that spot, but it's not the same, because it's like we didn't get a manual on what we should do, and it's like we're all learning this together right now, trying to find that foundation and that footing and that balance for everything. And
You know, Elijah and I kind of talked about this. She did an interview on me, or with me for a project she's working on. And we kind of discussed that. Elijah, do you remember what you told me about that? What we talked about when we were talking about
Um,
how losing traditions?
oh yeah, like the cultural transmission after uh one after slavery and how that developed is like sometimes they were well, it depends on what type of thing we're talking about, because they had to be hidden because it was criminalized to practice your language or traditions. So it was either enmeshed in like Christianity, or it was um just hidden, just practiced under the rug. And in that case, it's like there were so many things that happened that just severed a lot of that knowledge and watered it down throughout the generations,
Mhm.
especially I would say especially now. It's more alive, I think, in the South, based on like what I've been learning while studying for that project. It's more alive in the South, but in excuse me, in other areas it's still it's like very watered down to the point where it's like people don't recognize that it's a tradition that was passed down, like just herbal teas or coming together for family reunions and having a cookout, like those things don't people don't automatically think like, oh, that's that's from our long line of family history of being separated and having to get separated. So coming together is holds a lot of value in that. Like that's it doesn't translate the same way. And in that sense, that's like part of the how cultural transmission or the perception of it has changed to like my generation. I think people are learning more about it now, but it's still like we have to learn from scratch, like you said.
but
Mm.
I I don't know how many years between me and you, but it seems like your generation is more isolated. It comes off like that,
Mm.
and I'm just saying this is just the way it comes off to me. And then it seems like technology is the one thing that really kind of connects you, but it's not like you guys are present in the moment in the same room. Because I mean, I've been around teens and they're texting each other in the same room, you know, and
Mm.
it's just like you don't talk to each other. It's like what is going
Yeah.
on here? So how is help us to understand it, because
Yeah.
it works for you guys, but it looks crazy to us. So
I I have
That's
a
because
there
we're the seniors now.
there's a lot to say about that because there's just, there's obviously the benefits of it. It's like connecting with people you would have never done. Like, usually, I think I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about how people met other people. Usually it was in their tri state area unless they moved and they didn't really go outside of that.
Mhm.
Mhm.
But now it's like you can reach across the planet and meet people that way, but in the sense like you're still losing some of that connection. And when it comes to like information in general, like there's misinformation that it's so oversaturated, and it's like there people aren't discerning for themselves, like, okay, this makes sense, or just being conscious of what they consume, and
Mm.
in the sense of like communicating with each other and having that connection with one another. There are a lot of people in my generation, I feel like, that have this sense that they feel disconnected from other people, but they're not sure where it's coming from. And I think it's like that part of the reason is that like lack of human aspect, lack of presence
Mhm.
in the room. And that's, that is like with technology. um I was learning from one of my psychology courses of how it impacts like your attention too, and that instant gratification that you get from it.
Mm.
It's like wanting to constantly be on it and wanting to get stimulated, mental stimulation through that, instead of like, with conversations, it's a bit longer. You have to wait, and also you have to be attentive to the person in front of you. So that's, in that sense, there's benefits, but obviously there's downsides to it.
I think that you proved a really valid point too with the pros and cons, because you're absolutely right. Like, having information available to you is a convenience. Being able to communicate as fast as we can and reach places that we never would have been able to reach. I mean, you guys will probably never realize, like, we long distance calls cost a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Literally calling from Leavenworth to Kansas City was considered a long distance call. So, and when you paid for that, and if you didn't, somebody was going to be mad when they got that phone bill.
Exactly.
But those are things that you guys wouldn't understand, because now everything is unlimited, everything is tangible, everything is like literally accessible at your fingertips.
Mhm.
So
I
you
mean
can you
everything.
can absorb and get information at the speed of light, basically, but uh you are missing a lot of social interactions and a lot of face to face. So a lot of times, a lot of the people in your generation aren't as good at social skills. Like, I meet a lot of people in younger generations that have a lot of social anxiety,
Mhm.
but it's
Yeah,
probably because most of their interactions or social cues come from technology. They interact better on social media.
that's
Everybody
true.
says keyboard thugs and things like that because it's easier for them to interact in that way.
Mhm.
Right.
So that you do bring up some very strong points when you say that. You said something when you with your first part of your interview, when you said, or excuse me, first part of your statement a little bit ago. You said that when you're talking about traditions, they've lost the value as they've kind of been passed down in a way, to the point that people don't even realize how important they are. And you said people, historically, our ancestors got together and had gatherings, reunions, and cookouts and things of that nature because they were separated. But now we look at a cookout or a family gathering as just a social norm, not realizing that it was something that was handed down to us, and that people had to really, like, blood, sweat, and tears, right? So a lot of people say you don't understand how important it is to vote and what our ancestors went through in the 50s and 60s and 70s to give us rights to vote, or to sit
Right.
on a bus or to whatever. And I think that you drove a good point when you said that is like when you have these traditions, if we don't instill the reason why we have these traditions, then it gets lost in transmission. Like, for instance, something as simple as jumping a broom. People kept that
Mhm.
tradition alive, so you know the value. If that's something that's prominent in your family or your house, you should know the value of what jumping the broom means. You know what I mean? Because that was something that people kept. And I think that when we keep our traditions, then that was the conversation I was actually going to ask you about. What are your thoughts on like just simple traditions in the last 5 generations on how they've been getting lost on these younger generations?
I can speak on my experience. I feel like it wasn't until probably the last couple years that I really started to recognize, what traditions have been passed down and what were lost, especially talking to you guys and talking to my parents. It's
Mm.
like there's a lot of things that you just don't know about when you're just growing up in these uh these traditions. And then when you start to ask questions and get curious and try to learn and understand them, that's when you really start to internalize, like, okay, this is a part of my family, this is a part of my history, and this holds a lot of value because of the context of the world we live in and the society that we live in. Like those, I think now it definitely holds a lot more value. But when I was growing up, I really didn't understand none of it. I was like,
Right.
okay,
Right.
um, yeah, I did. Like there were times where I was like, okay, I want to go to this family thing, but I obviously I had like a game or something, a basketball game or maybe something like that, sports thing. And so it's like I understood those values of, like, wanting to spend time with family, but I still didn't understand, like, the any of the traditions or those things because there was never those conversations, I feel like.
I agree with
So
that.
I'll have to say I can speak from experience on this one thing, just because uh, I was adopted and I didn't know anything about my family until recently when COVID hit, and my family was able to find me and reach out, my blood relatives. And when I started going and doing things with them and learning about where the family came from and the history, we had one cousin Betty, and she could tell you what boat we came over on, how we set up in Arkansas, how many kids family member had, like 10 kids, and like down to the T, where the family originated from. And a couple years ago she passed away. So all that history, because everybody thought that, cousin Betty was going to be the around for a while. And, it may be somebody that actually has the book, that knows it, but you could talk to her and ask her these questions.
Mhm,
And I can't tell you too many people my age that could say that about their families, track it down, the lineage
mhm,
and that history and knowing, where we come from and, you know, who where your name originated from. It's like when
mhm,
somebody asks you, like, my birth name was toll free. So it's like I didn't know that that wasn't a common name. So if I met another toll free, they were more than likely family. But if you talk to somebody that's a Johnson or a Freeman
mhm,
or someone like that, it's like, okay, are we really family? It's those type of things that you learn and you miss when those people are not around anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, that is probably the most important, I think. When you're talking about traditions and understanding the importance, I learned that about your age too, Elijah. Oh, sorry, AJ, my bad.
It's
I
okay.
learned that about your age because, when you're in your early 20s and things, you're starting to figure out who you are. You're an adult now, you have your freedom, you're figuring out your life, right? And I remember about your age, my grandma was in the hospital, and she was like you said about your Aunt Betty, everybody, envisions you're gonna always be here, you know what I mean? They
Mhm.
don't you especially when you're young because you're naive, right? So I remember my grandmother was like one of the strongest women I ever knew. She'd always go to the hospital, but she always bounced back. So I remember I went up to see her at the hospital and she was sleeping and she had just went to sleep. So I said, okay, well, I'll just come back. Well, me being in my 20s and wanting to go out and party and do whatever, I didn't go back to the hospital that night. Instead, I went out with my friends. We went to the bar. We had fun, blah, blah, blah. Later on that night, early morning, my phone rings in the middle of the night. It was your auntie. It was Pua. And she's just like screaming in the phone. So, needless to say, my grandmother passed away. And here I am in my mind. It's like, what just happened? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not used to this. I'm used to you always bouncing back like Superwoman, you know? So
Mhm.
it was devastating. But what made it even more devastating for me was I felt this sense of guilt for a long time
Mhm.
that I should have went back.
Right.
I should have went back. At least, if nothing more, I should have went back just to at least do what I said I was gonna do. I learned a really valuable lesson about family in that situation, and I don't normally tell people that story, but I learned a very, 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 very valuable lesson about family and the importance of making decisions. Like, if there was ever a situation after that moment, if there was a situation, even if I wasn't even close to the family member, if somebody said, "Hey, such and such is in the hospital," I dropped everything I was doing to go see such and such because now in my mind, I don't know if such and such is gonna be okay. You know what I'm saying? So from that point on, like I truly learned how to figure out how important those sound choices are. Learning about the family, like you said, David, our heritage from our Johnson side, because we while you playing and talking about Johnsons are you could be my cousin, yeah. Anyway, from
I
our
mean,
Johnson side, we
Mm,
we have a deep history. We have a museum, so we have a lot of knowledge, but there were some things that certain people took to the grave that we just don't know. And we're
mhm.
starting to learn that now, putting pieces together. But for the Hawaiian side of our family, like even doing DNA tests, we all did like DNA tests and things. It's hard to link who's here and who's there because both sides of my parent, both parents are Hawaiian. So uh it's very interesting to go down that path, but you are completely right. Like now that you have technology and you can record keep, like taking that information, like y'all, if somebody would have been thinking and we, us young people all in our ass and whatever, got our head in our ass, when you're younger, you don't think, sit down when great grandma's talking about her recipes and write that down, or sit down when Aunt Betty's telling you about what shit we came off and write it down. So
Mhm.
then you record keep. Now we have technology. Now we have cloud servers. We have all
Right.
kinds of things to save this type of information digitally. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I still
It's
think that we
somebody
need to
gotta
have
do it.
that old book though. That
Oh,
book
yeah, I agree.
almost like that old photo album, you know. And Regina, you bring up a good point.
Oh,
It
let
is
me
important
sorry.
to keep those traditions going. I mean, in our generations, so that the children have those experiences as well. It means you all must carry the torch, and
Yeah.
that is such a true statement. Um, I don't think we hammer that home enough. that we need to carry the torch and be able to have a torch to pass on to our children. And I mean
Right.
that statement we used to always hear, I believe the children are our future, and we forget that the children are here now. So we need to go ahead and deal with them now and not think about it as something that's going to have time later.
Yeah.
Um, because if we keep on putting it off, thinking that we have time, that procrastination is going to end up hurting us and them in the long run when it comes to things like that.
David, I think we talked about this in Elijah. We talked about this during an interview. I think one of the main reasons that we're starting to lose traditions is because like a lot of grandmas right now are like in their 30s. They don't even have a good grasp on traditions. You know what I mean? And so now you've got 3 generations that were all born each decade, you know what I mean? And they don't have nothing to pass on because they didn't grasp it themselves at that age, you know?
Right.
So I think that having those books and those records and just access to those things, to me, it's important. Like, I love learning about it and just knowing where I come from, but I do
I,
think it's important for people to understand you have you got the torch now to pass it on and do your due diligence, you know?
Mm,
I'll be honest with you. I didn't think it was important when I first heard about it because, like I said,
Mhm.
I took it for granted. I just didn't see the importance of it until she was gone, and then I was like, man, how do I explain that, to my future, to my kids, how do I talk to them about this, or how do I explain that to, my significant other, like, this runs in my family and you don't know, you know,
Mhm.
it's a lot in that. So, man, we got into lineage and community. I mean, AJ, what else do you think would help us to come together and have the movement like the Black Panthers? Because I feel like every time you open your mouth, we end up going on a long rabbit hole. But
Oh, it is a good one
it's
though.
a good one though. It's a good one. So I'm getting some gems out of this. I'm
mm.
enjoying this.
We were
Um,
supposed to when she interviewed me, we were only supposed to do like an hour. It ended up being like 4 hours because
no,
we just
it
kinda
was
kept
not
going.
4 hours.
Four
It was just,
hours? Are
it
you
was
It was
serious?
like,
like
it was like an hour and a
no,
half
It
no, it
was
was
four
not.
hours.
and
Oh
40
my god.
minutes and 45 minutes. I got the recording. I got
We
the
had to start
recording.
over. We had to start
Well,
a second round.
that's because it records every, okay, it was like 2 hours. Now that I'm
Thank
thinking
you.
about it, it was like 2 hours because
Thank you.
it records 100 minutes, so it was like two
We
hours.
went down a bunch of rabbit holes about stuff like this. That's why I was like, "No, she's
Yeah.
gotta come on." And her sister too, because we jumped down these rabbit holes having these conversations, which is
Mm.
I
one
was
thing
hoping
that
we
I
were gonna have
love
both of them
because
tonight. Um,
yeah. Go ahead with the question. I'm sorry. My
yeah.
bad.
So go ahead. What else are we missing here?
I mean, I think everybody has a role to play in their community. It's just like recognizing that each role is just as important as the next. I think sometimes
Mhm.
people are like, well, I'm not, a leader of this nonprofit or the leader of this the entire protest or movement. And they don't see the value that they could bring to the table. And I think that's where that's where it comes from. It's like you bring value just by being you, and you can
Mm,
contribute by just bringing yourself and being a part of it, being present in the knowledge, educating yourself, making sure you're aware of what's going on.
yeah, and man, you just said a mouthful there because
Spin bars. You bring value just by being you. That's a bar
yeah,
by itself.
just being by
I'm about to
being there. It's like being present in the moment and being available, for the experience is the biggest thing for a community to grow. And you are a value. And I think that is why a lot of these communities suffer, because they do not have the hope and they don't feel like they are valued as a
Mhm.
person, or they have opportunities. And being able to bring opportunities to communities to bring hope and positivity would bring a lot of people together. But also, I think you would also need to bring in some mental coaches, because
Mm.
there's a lot of trauma behind that.
Ooh, ooh.
So
Yeah.
He's about to jump us
yeah,
down that rabbit
I
hole.
think yeah, yeah. No,
Yeah.
He's talking
no,
about
Already
no,
he's
cooking,
about to
already
bring
cooking. Yeah.
no.
he's about to get
No,
us
it's
down that
like
rabbit hole.
you really made me think about it, because I mean,
Yeah.
those are the things that need to happen
Whew.
to indoctrinate a different mindset in the community, because it's being taught and perpetuated that you have no value, and this is why you're in an underserved community,
Mhm.
because you don't have a value or you don't matter. And to break that, and it is a generational thing, it's a generational curse. You have to attack it from all aspects. You had to
Mhm.
attack it mentally,
Mm.
you had to attack it physically by providing food and more clothing or whatever is lacking. And then you also need to attack it financially too. And these are the things that have set us back, years, because in these neighborhoods that used to thrive, and a lot of people moved away because they became underserved communities, because all the resources moved out. So now you have almost like these deserts communities where there's nothing around, and everybody's looking like, well, this is all I know and this is all I'm going to be. That's a horrible thought, right?
Yeah. I think the topic of generational trauma is really yeah, like you said, there's so many different aspects that contributed to it. Like when we talked about the redlining of districts, like there's intentional, like they're underfunded, and there's underfunded schools and people, and even in schools there's they value the success of the student versus like if you're an unsuccessful student, or what they deem unsuccessful, and they won't give you as much energy or commitment. Like there are people who do, individuals who do and see the value and like the what is contributing to this, but there's a lot of um like perpetrating this idea of like if you're not the ideal person or ideal successful person, or you don't have the potential, or you don't seem to have the potential, then I won't put any of my resources into you. And that's another thing. It's like we do need those people in our communities who are able to bring that healing and that form of liberation in like mental health and supporting them, um, like finding ways to support them. You know, there are different community movements like nonprofits that do that, but again, it's like an accessibility issue. Like how do we make sure those people can access our resources? How
Mm,
do we make sure they're hearing our message? How can we support them?
right.
Yeah, it's like it's a whole thing.
It
But it's
is.
definitely I think doable. Sorry, my thing.
You know,
Mm.
we had a conversation with I think it was it Andre that we had this conversation. We kind of touched just slightly on like the Willie Lynch letter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. I would love
And
for like Elijah to come back and have that conversation with us, because what you guys are about to get into, I feel like that whole conversation it's like it's one of those conversations that you have to be mentally prepared and strengthened before you get into it, because if anybody knows anything about that letter and then how the comparisons are like moving forward into now, it will piss you off. Sorry,
Mhm.
I don't want to drop this tea because it's nothing but electronics over here. But the reason why I brought that up is because what you were just saying about, and what you kind of said, David, too, about people have convinced you or us or our communities of our lack of value. Therefore, we don't have all the resources available. We don't have all of the support behind us and things to help keep us or make us successful. A lot of the
Mhm.
things that are designed within those four walls of our communities are often set up or stabilized in a way that they are intended to uh, keep people, everything is checks and balances. So it's intended to keep people at their level. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
So, when people start to become successful in those realms, it changes the dynamics of what the intention is, right? Like I said, the
Mhm.
checks and balances. So I think it's really interesting, going back to that letter, is having that conversation about people learning their value, because now a lot of people are starting to understand their positions. A lot of people, some like that's why I thought it was super important to talk to Katara and AJ, because one thing, it's not because I'm their aunt, but because I am their aunt, I'm blessed enough to be able to have conversations with them. And one thing is, like, they stand out to me when it comes to their generation of people their age that are woke, people their age that have conscious minds and want to know how they can help and do things. Like, I love the way that they think about um just interviewing with Elijah, like the questions, and just, it I find it really interesting that they do learn so much about that, and having and learning their value, and people like that will help to influence the rest of their generation. You know what I mean?
Mhm. I agree. I agree. I
I know
I
I
was
kind of
one.
just went left, right, and
Nah.
right back into the
Yeah.
middle with that, but I had a
No,
I
it's
had a
like
roundabout point.
when
Okay.
when our conversation started off, she kind of blew my head off with like I asked her a
I'm
simple
telling
question,
you.
and I was like, hold on, man, I need to have notes and jot this down real quick because I didn't even expect this
50
to
cars on
go
the
that
but
way. I thought this was gonna be like, all right, we're gonna talk about the Alabama boat brawl
Oh
and
yeah.
laugh about it a little
nah,
bit,
that's what you
you
get
know,
from their daddy. But
it
No,
would be
I
a
did
little
mention
lighthearted
it before.
conversation. And then all of a sudden she's like talking about redlining and gerrymandering, and I'm just like, okay, now we actually about to have a conversation. We actually
that's what
about
I
to go.
love about my nieces and nephews. And I don't want to be biased here, but I'm going to be a little bit biased. Like, my nieces and nephews, especially the oldest six, not that I don't love the rest of them, but the oldest six are the closest to me because I pretty much helped raise them all, you know?
Mhm.
And so, but they're all freaking smart. Maka, Maka make dumbass common sense decisions, but that boy is smart as shit. If I had to put the top six in level of smartness, he would be at the top and Elijah right below him. And then
Mhm.
the third place, I would have to tie it up with Tani and Keiki probably. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Uh, so they be
I'm
getting
I'm
mad at me.
act like I
But
I'm
these
act like I know
kids,
who you're talking about with these nicknames and stuff like that.
no, that's not nicknames. That's all their names.
No, I'm just
We
saying.
Hawaiian. Oh,
Yeah, no.
yeah, nicknames. Yeah. Anyway, what I'm saying is not just because I'm their aunt, but because for real, like, these kids are smart as hell. You can hold a pure conversation with them. Sometimes they make dumb 20-year-old decisions, which is
Of
understandable.
course.
But like, one of the things I love is like they all have their own relationship with Mike, but Mike is really smart too when it comes to certain things. Well, he's smart,
Mm,
but a lot stronger in certain areas like finance and history. So,
mhm,
like, the kids will come over here, like Elijah will come over here, Keiki will come over here. They'll sit down and Tani, they just sit down and talk to Mike for hours about whatever. But they hold their own when it comes to their intellect. And that's why I'm like, oh, they're gonna
man.
be like I mean,
I mean,
What I
I can
expect, they
already,
are Verlonen's kids, you know.
yeah, but I mean, I can
Record
definitely
that so he
tell.
can hear that compliment just to
I
throw
mean,
me some there.
I'm not gonna tell him.
but you could tell that these are the next generation, and they are going to be some of the changers, the movers and shakers,
Yes, yes.
because the mental capacity
Speak
that's
on them.
shown
Speak on them.
right now, and these are your early years right now. I can't wait until you get some more
Exactly, and that's what
experience
I'm
under your
talking
belt,
about.
because as
Get
soon
the
as you get some more
experience, and
experience
she's
under
gonna
your
be
belt,
a
you're gonna be
beast.
cutting people down, and they're gonna
She's
be trying
already,
to.
but that's what I'm saying. This girl's so damn smart. My 2 nieces are my favorite. Is this? Oh well, I'm just saying
Ain't nobody
they're
gonna
so
be able
doggone
to.
smart. Sorry, I got a little excited.
Ain't
I
nobody
try
gonna
not to
be able to
brag
keep
on
it
them
up.
and swell their head up,
It's
but
gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny because somebody's gonna come up there and just underestimate you right out the back, and
because
do
her
just
face,
Yeah,
because
do
she's
that
just like
baby
happens
I
a
did.
lot, actually.
Do just like
It
I
happens
did,
a
and I
lot.
mean, no disrespect. And I was just like, all right,
she's
that's
always
on
got
me.
that baby face. She's had that baby face obviously her entire life. And
Hmm.
people underestimate, and then when she starts talking, it's a wrap. Or if she
Yeah.
when she's the box too. Now look, sorry, I'm having my auntie moment. She's the box too. I remember she folded up one certain person, and we got it on video, and that person never did. And I think she was like 7. She was like 7 or 8 at the time. How old were
Mm-mm.
you, Elijah? Were you like you weren't that old?
Um, probably 8 or 9, I think.
Yeah, you weren't that old. I don't even think you were 10 yet. And then Tani and her wrestling. I remember her and another person was wrestling in my living room. Also caught it on tape. Tani folded him. Pow, pow. I said, "Oh,
Golly.
my girls are
Uh,
beasts, boy."
they
That's what
over
makes
here
me so proud because not only are
teaching
they
people
smart,
how
they're
to throw
beautiful,
hands.
and they exactly, and they got the smoke. What's up?
Y'all gotta learn about these hands today. It's like, here, I'm gonna teach you about your history, and I'm gonna learn you something. One,
But no,
two.
I'm super proud of all my babies because they're not babies anymore, but they got to get out in the world and make their own decisions and things. But the thing I love about them all is that they're super intellectual. They're all smart. And
Mm.
so when you sit down and hold a conversation with them, like you said, they will blow your mind because you look at this baby face and this little butterfly coffee cup and say, "Oh, she's so cute. She's woke. She's drinking herbal tea." And then when she starts talking to you, like, "Oh, wait, hold up. Let me Google that.
Hold
What'd you
on,
say?
hold on,
Spell it."
hold on.
Spell
So,
it
so
for
what
me.
do
You
you
said
what you mean about ginger root? How's that help me?
You said it
I'm
is what? The elasticity. Spell it.
so let me ask you this question. Speaking about the Alabama brawl,
Oh my God. You gotta go hood.
I,
You
I
gotta
had
go hood one more time.
I need to know, because it was definitely one of the highlights of last year. But what was the thing that you got from it as a youth? And I keep calling it a youth just because there's a gap.
Mhm.
Eh.
Honestly, I feel like I was really late to the game. Like I do after everybody else was talking about it. Like I was like, "What is this?" I think that's the case with so many things. Like I as much as like I may be the youth, I still don't know any of the slang words. Like I gotta ask Tani and Katara what they mean. But this I was like, I feel like that's a proud moment in history just because, the location of where it was. And on top of that, they all came together. The what did this somebody say the Aquaman came through. Came through. So yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, that is a proud moment. I was just doing the slow clap, like, yeah, this is right there. It's in there.
Did you
The
see
internet
somebody
is
just had
forever.
somebody had a birthday party, and they had all like the decorations of the birthday party was, I guess, like top moments of 2023 or whatever.
Mhm.
I think the person was turning like 50 or some monumental birthday, but on the cupcakes they had little chairs on the cupcakes. And
I bet they were
of the
good
brawl.
then.
It was so cute. I'm about to go find it and put it on there. I was
So
like, that is freaking interesting.
that was one of the craziest things, but that's history, and it's Black history. You would have never thought that something would have happened in this day and age of that nature. But it lets you know how some older mindsets are still in people, and
Mhm.
then how people are changing and coming together, as you said, because they definitely came together in that moment.
And threw
You
that
know,
hat up, and it was like the bat single. Hootie hoo! It was like, huh?
some say that the hat never landed.
Yeah, it's out in space
I
It's in
still
forever.
don't
space
know.
right now.
I still don't know where the chair came from. Was it just on the dock?
It was on the dock. It was on the
Yeah,
dock.
I'd be too busy watching the punches to check
It
out
was
the
on the dock.
surrounding areas.
Yeah.
But it's funny how generational is that right there is going to be one of the big things in their history books. You know,
But
for
you
us,
know how
Yeah.
and then and we were talking about earlier. It's like we were talking about the cotton gin and George Washington Carver and the peanut.
Mhm.
All these different things. Those are the things that we learned in our history. But the Alabama brawl is going to be in her history book. And her kids. Those are going to be the things that they talk about. Like
Mhm.
back in 2023.
Yep.
Somebody got hit with a chair.
On this day.
Yeah.
This
It
happened.
was the 6th of it wasn't it August?
Yeah, it was
I think it was around Maka's birthday. That's why.
So
Did you see like when you talk about coming together and how we like throw up the bat signal? Did you see the pastor? I don't even know where he was. He was a pastor down south, and he pranked his church. And he, in the middle of his sermon, he just took off running, and like the whole congregation just took off running.
Oh my god.
And it was a pretty big church. It wasn't like a small, old school church. But
Hey,
they were
but
just proving how if one person run, we all running like
Yeah.
hey, that's how it is for Black folk, though, man. We be acting like gazelles out here. You gotta keep it moving. It's
ain't nobody playing. Speaking of
danger.
Black people, come on.
Which one is it?
He said, "Which one? Come here."
I should have known. This Mike.
You know it.
Hi, Mike.
Hi.
You gotta.
Hi.
What's good, Mike?
Oh,
Wait, I forgot what time I have to talking.
this.
So you're gonna tell us how you gonna become
Hello?
and now?
What?
What?
What did he ask you?
I don't know.
Ask him to repeat it then. You keep coming down here.
What did you say?
I say you hopping on here to tell us how you're gonna become a Chiefs fan now.
No, that's my mom, not me.
I'm not a fan. I lost the bet. There's a difference. I lost the bet, people, for the record.
She's lying. Don't believe her. Believe me. I'm the youngest, so that means I'm telling the truth. She's the oldest in the family, so she can't. So she's not telling the truth. You're older than Daddy. Me. You're 40.
Stop telling my business.
You tell my business in the bus.
I like the fact that your mama told you that she lost a bet and now she has to wear Chiefs clothes.
No, it wasn't a bet. She became a Chiefs fan.
It was a bet. You know
The truth is out.
They
The
said from
truth
the
is
mouth
out.
of babes.
There wasn't no bet.
I told you I lost the bet to Uncle David. Get out of here.
See, I
Anyway.
knew you was really a Chiefs fan underneath
Yeah,
all
no,
that
no,
Raider hater
no.
activity you
No.
had going on
Alright.
over there.
Don't believe her about whatever she says about the Chiefs. She's a Chiefs fan.
Get out of here. You see what I gotta do with?
The
And then
internet
you
is
should see him
forever.
over here messing with my
Yeah,
computer.
this is gonna be forever
Mike, you're still showing up on the camera. Look.
framed.
Oh my god. You hear him whispering?
It looked like you got a ghost in the room with
I
you.
know. Oh my God. This is what I got to deal with.
That is hilarious.
Don't mess up. Don't lock me out. Do not lock me out. That is no. Stop.
Hey, I just want to go ahead and say what's up to everybody that's tuned in to us this evening on Facebook, on Twitch, on YouTube. We appreciate y'all tuning in to the We Time podcast. I don't know how much longer we're gonna be on here. Depending on how much longer Tish want to go ahead and put up
No, I'm
with us.
good. I'm good. Every
don't-
Tuesday, 7 p.m.
Don't you want to be a Chiefs fan?
Get out of here. Y'all be thinking I'll be joking with what I gotta deal with. Get you
So
He never
I
said
do
nothing.
I do want to go ahead and extend an invitation out to you, AJ. You know, you are more than welcome to come on anytime you want to, get in, even if you're not,
Yeah.
part of the conversation, when we start, you got the link. So just hop in and be like, hey, I want to be a part of the conversation because I feel like you
I'm
have some
feeling.
you got some
Oh,
pretty
sorry.
good insight. You got to put a good head on your shoulders, young person, and we would like to know us of the
Oh
elderly.
Lord, I don't talk like that.
We would like to
For
have
the
you
record,
on the podcast
Thank
and
you.
the
tell us how
internet's
you
forever.
feel.
For the record, that's his old ass. His
Nah.
old ass.
Nah,
For the record.
that's Bobby
That's why
Boucher's
he looked like
side
somebody's
piece.
old ass grandpa.
That's
Hold on.
Bobby Boucher's side piece. Mr. Jenkins, with the man with all the keys that be going to sleep in the middle of the cookout. Yeah, that's what
Sorry.
we talking about. Bobby didn't get on tonight, so I didn't get a chance to talk about her side piece, Mr. Jenkins.
Y'all see that?
He's like, I'm gonna be a special guest.
One way or another.
One way or another.
No. Sorry.
So, Regina, I just want to give you a shout out. We appreciate you being active in the chat this evening and pull up. We appreciate you getting on there laughing about Tish running away from the whole Chiefs situation. But she showed up,
What?
so it's all good.
Oh, she said that earlier?
Yeah, it was earlier.
But here's the crazy part. She texted me. You ain't on We Time? I said, Elijah's on right now. I'm at the dentist. Oh, I'm watching. But she ain't say nothing along those lines. You see how that go? Always, it's cool. Don't worry about it. It's cool.
No, she was laughing. Who's this that just
And
popped in here?
AJ's also that's Paris. Hi, Paris. Paris is one of the sweetest people in the entire universe. And she has unicorn magic dust in her pocket. Yes. Anyway,
It's another word for
AJ's
cocaine,
also a
man.
musician, David. AJ is
Yeah.
also a musician.
Yeah.
AJ and I were supposed to be working on the guitar, but AJ said, okay, Auntie, you cook and I'll teach you the guitar. I said, cool beans. AJ comes over and eats. Guess who still don't know the guitar? You
I'll
guys
be
did-
there in the summer. I'll be
Of
there.
course
in the
you will.
summer. I
And
will.
you'll eat.
July.
And I still won't know the guitar.
I'll teach you some.
David plays the guitar
chords.
though. And he
Yeah.
plays the drums too.
I don't play the drums.
I thought you did. You just play the guitar?
I play the guitar and I make beats. And I DJ.
I know that, but I thought you had a well no, I
AJ
know
doesn't
that,
know
so-
it though.
And David has it. Hey, AJ, that track I showed you or let you listen to when we were talking about
Mhm.
writing, that's David's.
Oh.
He plays a
yeah,
nice
that was nice.
guitar chord
Yeah.
over it too when we just was playing with it. So yeah. David's
that
pretty
was
talented.
nice.
That's actually how I met him years ago. Music.
Yeah.
And he just became my big brother and now he your uncle.
Yeah. I just
And
got
he's your daddy's daddy.
What?
What?
I'm just
What?
Pause.
Bowling.
I feel
Bowling,
like
never
this is
mind.
another conversation that I
Yeah,
might
you're right.
not be a part.
That
I'm
I don't
not.
even know what she.
You know what?
Did you have
It's
your medicine
Tuesday.
today? You had your medicine today, didn't you?
I had to take it before I went to the dentist. They weren't about to make me hurt.
And that's why your eyes are low. Okay. I
Oh
see.
no!
I
Oh no!
see.
That's because I'm
I see.
tired. I was up till 2:00 in the
uh,
morning.
Yeah. Okay.
Hi, Janika. I got my turkey leg this weekend. Did you get yours, girl?
She knows she got a daggum turkey leg. She got a turkey leg.
Hey,
She
and
got
I
the
tore that
wing pack.
motherfucker up too.
Hey, so
You, oh,
so
sorry, I didn't. I
so
did
you
good
like
not
that?
cussing.
You like that? You
Yeah,
slipped up a
I
couple
told
times.
you
You
I
weren't
ate
paying
it.
attention. You weren't paying attention. Oh, I made
David
oxtails
just,
last night.
I don't even want to hear it, David, unless you bring me a motherfucking plate. Don't
Yeah,
talk to me unless you bring me a
I
goddamn plate.
smoked
Excuse me, Lord.
smoked oxtails last night.
Bring me some. For real, for real.
I don't have that many. I'll see if I can sneak you one.
David, you better bring me one. You know what?
My girl about killed me when I said it's only 4 of them in there, and she was like, "You know what?
And I
don't
had to
touch
go
it."
get them at Sam's, and I paid $30 a pack for the
I
ones I got
paid
at Sam's.
$20 and I got 4.
Nah, I had more than 4. I had a bunch because I ended up making oxtail tacos. So you need to go to Sam's.
Them jokers is like that big.
Yeah, mine were. I had a couple that big and then some that were smaller, but I tore them things down. When I tell you, then the next day I made oxtail tacos. I put some fresco cheese on it. Ooh, Jesus. And I cooked mine with red wine and bourbon in my Dutch oven. Lord,
I have a confession. I never had oxtail before.
Girl, that's the best tail you could ever have.
She's like,
then I'd like to make an official request. Can you make some when I visit?
I will. I'd like to make an official request too. Music.
Okay.
We cut a record. I'll make you some oxtails.
Hold on. Before you even talk about cutting records, let's make sure we got the writing team in order.
She's a writer.
Okay,
that's why I said we. As long team
as the right
and
team.
You know what, David? We'll do it right to your beat too. Elijah, I'll send it to you again, so you can listen to it.
Yeah,
and we can write to it.
Yeah, because I
then David can shut his ass up about this damn beat. But Elijah's good at
hold on. You know, let's go ahead and put it on tape.
Here we go. You always throwing me under the bus.
How long have you had that?
Probably 2 years.
No, it's like 4 years.
No, it has not been no 4 year. When did you?
It's been like 4 years.
Okay, damn. Has it?
Okay.
Exactly. Time flies.
No, it hasn't been. No, it hasn't been because 4 years ago I was in.
How long has Mike worked at Irvin?
4 years ago we were in Arizona still. 4 years ago, the pandemic started in 2019 to 2020, so we were just coming back from Arizona in March of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been but you gave it to me that summer of 2020. Mm-hmm. So it's almost 4 years now. Wait, no.
It's looking bad for the home team.
It is. You're absolutely right. You did give it to me that summer of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Shit.
Yep.
Has it been 4 years?
Mm-hmm.
I've been in a writer's block for real.
You gotta remember, one of the my hair has been. I've been growing my hair for 3 years. Shit. I didn't have hair then.
Well, the best time I wrote was when I was in bad relationships. And as soon as I got with
Mike, I need to go tell Mike.
I'm gonna have to go be abusive to him so that I can get some bad relationships.
Mike,
because
I'm sorry.
That's when I was able to write. That was the last time I was able to write was when I was in a bad relationship. Ever since me and Mike got together, I ain't been able to write nothing.
I'll give you some techniques, Auntie, to get into the
Thank you. I love you. Mode. That's my baby right there.
We need to get her.
That's what I'm telling you.
She need to be in the flow state so she can go ahead and write. Because I mean, back in the day, Tish used to write her butt off. She was like,
I was always singing.
I got something for this. All right, cool. I'll make some beats real quick, and she'd be like, all right, I got something. All right, I'm like, dang, shut up.
I just completely lost it. Can't do nothing. But the thing is I have it that particular beat. I have a idea of what would be so dope on it. Like I envision 90s Carl Thompson on that song. Like just a summer breeze type song. Like that fucking beat.
That's the same concept you've been saying for the longest. So
because you gotta hit, man.
AJ, I need you to really help her on the song because
Yeah.
I've been
I
wanting to
love
hear.
that
I've
though.
been wanting to hear what she wanted to do on the song, and then like if we need to reformat that beat, we can go ahead and reformat it.
And
And
I think honestly, reformatting it with the way that when I came over that night that you gave it to me and you
mm,
played the guitar over it and added to it,
mm.
yo, that shit was so dope. I was like, this motherfucker is talented. That's what, if
Mm.
you want to reformat it like that. Sorry, I
Oh,
didn't mean to
just
interrupt you.
put more guitar on it.
Do you have more
Yeah.
beats? Like, do you post them on like BeatStars or YouTube,
I got some stuff on SoundCloud.
SoundCloud?
Yeah, underneath Cajun Productions.
Okay.
That's what I got. Some stuff on. So let's see. Hold on, real quick. Cloud. Let's see. See if I can find that for you real quick.
Cause yeah, I'm trying to also just find beats too. Cause I haven't been making any beats because I don't have any of the DAW, and I've been trying different ones out, but I just switched to like Windows,
Mhm.
so I haven't been using Logic or anything like that. And they have like Cakewalk is a free one, but I'm still trying to get used to it. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you're looking for it, this is where it is. Cajun Productions. And this is the song she's talking about.
Yes. And I'm telling you, it's like never mind. I have an entire concept. I just need to put it together. When you break it down like a little bit, I think it's a little bit
Yes.
towards the end. Oh my God, that's my
Yeah.
favorite. I love that fucking. I listen to that in the car, just drive.
Yeah. This right here is the one I'm sad about. This song I'll never be able to finish because my friend, the one that sung it, he ended up passing away.
Oh, he's singing on it right now.
When I think of you, I wanna be mad, but I just can't lie. I still love you, so I can't stay mad, even when I try. Cause the bottom line is, I still love you. When I think of you, I wanna be mad, but I just can't lie. I still love you. Nope, so I can't stay mad, even when I try. Cause the bottom line is, I still love you. Nope, don't say it. Nope. I gotta move on. Nope. Don't say it. Nope. I gotta move on. Nope. I can't love you.
Yo. My bad. I totally forgot that we still.
Y'all, I had to text David like, you do know we're still live, right? He just went into a whole DJ.
I'm just
session.
like, it's just like,
But
do
you
you got
guys,
music?
we're gonna cut this live real quick, and then we're gonna finish talking. Tune
Hey,
in next Tuesday at 7 p.m. with Tish Kanati and your boy.
you better answer Paris because they want to know what
Oh.
you're gonna be cooking.
Paris, she's talking about some damn. Paris always pull up on me whenever I cook. If I post anything, she be like, "Hey, you still got some food?" Before I can even say yes and send, Paris be in the driveway.
Yeah.
That's my homie, man. I've known Paris for a long time. But AJ, thank you so much for doing your Auntie That's Solid. I appreciate you. I'm upset that I didn't really get to interview you, but we had some really nice conversations, and I can't wait for you to come back. And I would love to have a conversation with you and your sisters and your dad, dude. That shit would be so funny, David.
Yeah,
I need to make
we
some money.
should.
Which, by the way, tomorrow is Tani's birthday. Happy birthday
Yes.
to Auntie's lovely boo boo. Happy birthday, dear Night Tani. Happy birthday to you. Okay. How old are you? Okay. Anyway. So yeah, thank you for tapping in with us. I do want to bring you back on some episodes. I can think
Oh,
of a
yeah,
lot that we can have a
most
real
definitely.
conversation, especially with you and your dad too,
Oh,
because
yeah.
that's just funny. Talking to Tani and your dad is like basically talking to Uncle Mike and your dad and Tani all bundled in one. I'll be just wanting to just cut them off, let them talk. Anyway, David, it's always a pleasure to see you every Tuesday and talk to you throughout the week. Thanks for
Yeah,
my
it's
birthday.
been a blast. I want to thank everybody that showed up on in the chat. I want to thank everybody that tuned in to us on our different platforms on Facebook and on the where are we on YouTube and
YouTube,
Twitch.
Facebook. Are we on Instagram yet? We're about to be
Not
on
not
Instagram.
yet, not yet. We got to work on that. I think you'll be able to go ahead and broadcast on yours because I think you got more followers on that. So you should be able to do that when we'll get it together.
Yes, sir. We will.
But we will be adding more platforms as we grow and AJ comes on and performs the song that her and Tish come up with. You know, we
Ooh,
will.
I'm gonna give me some boots too.
Yeah, and she gonna boot scoop
No.
boogie.
Did you see it? I was boot scoop boogieing right there. That was my booty scooter and a boogie.
But it would be cool if we did something like that. And you know, when you do come into town, we could do like a little jam session too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that would
I'm
be. I'll just go live on the podcast. Not even a podcast,
Yeah.
just a jam. Ooh, I would love that.
Yeah.
Ooh, let's do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Uh oh, let me
do
get
it.
summer body ready. Let me get summer body ready. No, I'm just playing. You know your auntie crazy.
She
I hope
is.
Relani don't see that part because he always say I'm a bad influence on his kids.
I can see that, you know.
Boy,
But
Relani used to keep me. Never mind. It's my brother. I love him.
Yeah, that's what we'll do. We'll go ahead and make a little jam session of it, and we'll tiny desk it. That's what we'll do.
I like
We'll do
that.
like a
Yeah.
I
tiny
like it.
desk, and Tish will be the front runner, and we'll go ahead and back her up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And bring Relani too, because he can still rap. He try to act like he can't, but he really can.
Yeah,
Still. That'll be fun. That'll be really fun. Let's do that.
yeah, that'd be dope.
I can't
So
wait.
yeah,
It will probably be the first couple weeks of July
okay.
Okay.
Matter of fact,
when I go
oh
there.
yeah, hold on, let me stop you there. People, we are about to leave because we're gonna start talking about some logisticals. Y'all have a good week.
Yeah.
We'll catch you next
We
week.
love y'all. Adios.
Peace.
Bye.